All right, welcome. Today we're diving into something a little different, a little strange. We're going to break down a financial analysis about a huge crypto mystery. But here's the twist. The article we're looking at is supposedly from the future. Yeah, you heard that right. Let's get into it. So, what if you could get your hands on a financial report from the future, say from September 12th, 2025? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're about to pick apart a market analysis that tells a very specific story about one crypto, one huge investor, and a potential explosion in price. Okay, so, gotta be perfectly clear here. Everything we're about to talk about comes from this one single speculative source. We are not making predictions. Think of this as a fascinating case study, a thought experiment in market theory, all based on a document supposedly from the future. So the hero of our story, or maybe the villain, depending on how you look at it, is this mysterious figure the article calls the Pi whale. This investor is making massive waves by doing the one thing nobody else is, buying. So what exactly is a whale? You know, in the crypto world, a whale is just an investor who holds so much of a coin that their moves, buying or selling, can literally change the direction of the entire market. They are the biggest fish in the sea. And according to this article from the future, a brand new one has just breached the surface. So, how big are we talking here? Well, the analysis claims that in just the 30 days leading up to September 12th, 2025, this whale scooped up over $128 million worth of Pi tokens. I mean, that is a staggering bet to make against the market. And that crazy buying spree, that brought the whale's total stash to a jaw-dropping 373 million coins. The article says this makes them the single largest holder of the token. What's important here is just the sheer scale of it, the conviction. So you have to ask, why? Why would anyone do this? And that question brings us right to the heart of the whale's strategy. It's a classic investment philosophy called contrarianism. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly hard to do. You buy when everyone else is panicking and running for the exits. The article itself points to this legendary quote from Warren Buffett. So this isn't just random, impulsive buying. The whale, according to this analysis, is making a calculated move, being greedy during a time of intense market fear. And believe me, the article paints a bleak picture of that fear. Remember, this is from the perspective of September 2025. It says the price has cratered, down 90% from its peak. Almost no one is buying, and those major exchange listings everyone was hoping for still haven't happened. It's the absolute definition of a fearful market. But the whale strategy isn't just built on a cool quote. The article brings in a second piece of evidence, a market analysis method that's been around for over 100 years. It's called the Wyckoff theory. So the whole idea behind Wyckoff is to try and decode what the smart money, the big, informed players like our whale, are doing behind the scenes. By looking at price and volume, the theory claims you can figure out if these big investors are quietly buying up an asset or if they're getting ready to sell it off. This slide lays out the cycle perfectly. Wyckoff breaks the market down into these 4 phases. And the article's big argument is that the whale's huge buys are a textbook sign of phase 1, accumulation. This is the stage where smart money builds up their position on the quiet before anyone else really notices what's going on. Now here's the thing. If the Wyckoff theory is right, and this is the accumulation phase, well, that's just the quiet before the storm. It's what comes next that our whale is betting on. And this is it. This is the article's stunning conclusion. Based on the whale's buying pattern and the Wyckoff model, the analysis lays out 2 huge price targets. First, a psychological barrier at $1, and then a more technical target at $1.67. That is a massive jump from the price it describes in September 2025. Just to put that into perspective for you, hitting that final target would mean a potential gain of 388%. That is the kind of massive surge this article from the future suggests the whale is getting ready for. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. We've just walked through this wild, speculative analysis from the future. The real lesson here isn't about predicting the price of any one thing. It's about understanding the forces that really shape markets. It's data, it's theory, and it's a whole lot of human psychology. What this article really does is set up a clash between 2 completely different stories. On one side, you have the market story, right? It's all fear, uncertainty, and pessimism. But then you have the whale's story, a quiet, confident accumulation
a huge bet against the crowd based on historical patterns.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? We like to think of markets as these cold, rational systems of numbers and charts. But what an analysis like this shows is how a single powerful narrative, the story of one confident whale, can suggest a completely different future. The only question is which story ends up being the right one.